Every morning the world starts quietly, one soft light at a time. Homes flicker awake, shops open. People take those first small steps into a brand new day. And in all of that ordinary movement, there's something kind of extraordinary. A moment worth noticing, a spark you feel before you even name it. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's small, but kindness shows up right on time. And every morning we choose to show up with you so we can look for that spark together.
Good morning. I'm Matt Roof, the Uncommon Kindness Guy, and this is Kindness Rising. Let's rise together.
Yes, it is. This is Kindness Rising, and I am so glad that you're all here with me today as we get up, get going, get after it. It is a beautiful day today, and today we are going to be talking about value. What determines it, who gets it, who doesn't, and what happens when we all finally recognize it. On this day in 1963, the Equal Pay Act became law in the United States, challenging the system that had undervalued the work of women for generations. And 10 years later, on this same day, the Grateful Dead play the longest concert of their career. We all know the Dead played long shows. This one was epic, creating something legendary, but not through competition, through collaboration. And we'll talk about that. Two very different stories, one about fairness, one about sharing the stage, but both asking the same question: how do we recognize the worth of people? How do we recognize the worth of people? That's what we're talking about here today. Welcome into Kindness Rising. Jess and Keith, you guys are both here. I know others will be coming along to join us shortly here as we get up and get after it on the Mornings in the Lab Network. It is a Wednesday. Wednesday is my favorite day here on Mornings in the Lab Network. Here they come, Sully and Kathleen. Kathy the donkey is with us today. Sully, what's up, buddy? Good to see you too. Come on. Get out there, say hello in the chat if you're out there. I appreciate every single person who spends just a moment of time with me today. A little bit more high fives for humanity, a little less rage bait. Just wake up, have a great day. We're going to be talking about the Equal Pay Act today and why that's so important and the work that still needs to be done in that area. And I got to talk about it. 6/10/73, the longest Grateful Dead show in their history. Epic Washington, D.C. show. We're going to talk about it today. All right. Welcome in. Here's the thing, though. I want to give you my little spark for the morning. The deepest human needs include things like feeling valued, not praised, not celebrated, valued, to know that your work matters and your ideas matter and your contribution matters. And maybe most importantly, that somebody just noticed. Today's stories may seem completely unrelated. Workplace law and a Grateful Dead concert? What? They're both asking the same question, though. How do we recognize the value of people around us? Absolutely. In 1963, America took a look at millions of working women and asked whether their contributions were being properly recognized. 10 years later, the Dead, along with the Allman brothers, shared the stage at RFK Stadium, not by competing with one another, but by building something together. Fairness, collaboration, recognition, all of those things together that add value to what we bring to the table. Absolutely. And I've actually noticed that the most of the meaningful moments in my life come from someone recognizing maybe a little something in me before I even recognized it in myself. A teacher, mentor, friend, maybe a boss, someone who saw potential, effort, creativity, character, and said, I see it. I know I've had several of those people, including one who's right here with us today, Keith Gillis, who said to me, I knew from the day I saw you, met you, that you had the character. And I appreciate that because that is what I aim to do. And that little kind of recognition can change people's lives. And the opposite is true too, unfortunately, right? Most frustrations come from feeling unseen or feeling overlooked, not unlooked. And our contributions don't matter. Yep. Here's the thing. People flourish when they're valued. And whether we're talking about workplaces, relationships, communities, or rock concerts, extraordinary things happen when people know they matter. All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining me here on Kindness Rising this morning. We're going to get at it with our first clue every day. For those of you who have not been here before, every day we do a Who in the World contest. 3 clues to get us thinking about someone who had significant impact in our world that maybe aligns with the values of Kindness Rising and what we're trying to accomplish here. And absolutely. Here we go. Clue number 1. Are you ready? Can you guess today's mystery person? Clue number 1. This person wrote a book that contains fewer than 350 words, yet it became one of the most influential books ever created. I know you all know it. I know it because I made it up. But even when I made the clue, I knew that you would know it. Fewer than 350 words and one of the most influential books ever created by this author. All right, we'll get to a second clue in just a moment. But first, drop into the comments. Jess is talking. Kathleen's talking. Thanking your neighbor, Jess. Yep. Thanking someone who always supports you. I love that. Just, hey, you got it. Those are the people that keep us going every single day. You got this. A little bit of encouragement, one step forward, whatever it may be. I've actually started doing, for those of you who are out there listening, started doing walk and talks again. I was doing them all last summer. Got away from them because I got away from my outdoor walks with the weather. But keep an eye out on the channel for I'm going to try to do it daily. We'll see how I do with it. A little short, little encouragement for everybody. Everyone needs that little bit, but not just platitudes, not just motivational posters hanging on our walls like Barney. I forgot his last name. Barney Stinson, was that his name? How I Met Your Mother had all those crazy, the classic motivational posters hanging in his office. All right. Random. I do want to get to the spotlight. Of course. Every day here on Kindness Rising, we highlight an organization that's doing good work for good people. It's part of our mission related to the theme, and this one is no different. Listen for the drop, and then we'll get talking about this organization. Here it is. Today's spotlight. I'm trying to get today's spotlight. Can you see today's spotlight? Yeah. Should have been ready for this one. Yep. Today we are talking about dressing for success. They're celebrating Pride Month over there. What happened? Are you guys seeing that? It disappeared on my screen. Okay, well, we'll just keep going. You're going to have to see this static L because they're making me accept cookies. Whatever. Okay, get it off of there. Get out of here. I'll still talk about them, though. Dress for Success, 1997. Dress for Success began to help millions of women around the world prepare for careers, interviews, leadership opportunities, and long-term economic success. And what I love about their mission absolutely is it's more about more than employment. It's about dignity. It's about confidence. It's about rising up, helping people recognize their own value and step into opportunities they may never have imagined for themselves. We're going to talk about the Equal Pay Act, and that asks whether people are being compensated fairly. But organizations like Dress for Success, they ask a related question. How do we help people access those opportunities in the first place? Today's challenge, think about someone early in their career, a student, a new employee, someone changing careers. Reach out, offer advice, make an introduction, and share an opportunity. Because sometimes the most valuable thing you can give someone isn't money. It's just opening a door, and that's what Dress for Success does. Absolutely. All right. Thank you for listening, and we'll keep plowing along here with some new groovy tunes. Let's switch the music up. All right. I promised I'd talk about the Equal Pay Act. Dude, the Equal Pay Act, I was thinking about this. Are people going to be bored by my legal ramblings? I don't know. We'll see if I can make it at all interesting. One of my all-time favorite characters? Not really character. How about President of the United States? One of my all-time favorites, President John F. Kennedy, in 1963, on this very day, signed the Equal Pay Act into law. His goal was straightforward. If two people were doing substantially the same work, they should receive substantially the same pay. Today, it sounds like common sense, although there's still differences for sure. In 1963, this was a major shift. At the time, women earned roughly 59 cents on every dollar earned by men. Different pay scales were common, and many places that gap wasn't just hidden, it was exploited. The Equal Pay Act challenged that assumption. Of course, it didn't solve the problem overnight, and the problem still exists. More than 60 years later, it continues. Today, we're at about 81 to 85 cents on every dollar earned by men, depending on how the numbers are measured. But we've come a long way from 59 cents, but we're not at $1. We're only halfway there in 60 years. That's the interesting part of the story. Both things can be true at the same time. Progress has happened, but there's still progress to be made. And sometimes our culture struggles with that idea. We tend to think in terms of victories or failures, solved or unsolved, success or disappointment, but most meaningful change doesn't actually work that way. It's a long road with milestones along the way. Equal Pay Act was one of those milestones, and it moved the conversation forward. It changed expectations and opened doors, and it still creates momentum that continues today. It reminds us that fairness isn't a destination that we reach, though. It's something that every generation has to keep on pursuing, and we will keep on pursuing equal pay. Equal Pay Act reminds us that progress matters, but it also reminds us that it's not the same as completion. There's a difference between better and finished. And one of the most hopeful things we can do is celebrate how far we've come and continuing to do, and how far we still have to go today. All right, that's it. Equal Pay Act. Yeah. Yeah, working for others is getting old, Sully. You got to start your life coach biz. You have insights, bro. You've got things. You got a BA in government, a master's in counseling. All those things are great. And you don't have to own. You don't have to be owned by someone else. You can own yourself. Own yourself. You know what I mean. Dude, you got this. You've been talking about it now for a few months. I've heard you talk about your life coach business. What are you doing? What are you doing to get it started, Sully? I dropped a chat. Come on over and talk. I'll help you with it. I will figure out a way to get you going, connect you with the right people. If you're ready to act, I'll help. Yep. Doing what one loves, never want to work somewhere, counting the seconds to retire. Like Mick Jagger retired? I thought the Stones had a tour coming up. All right. Anyway, let's get to your second clue. You guys are waiting. Kathleen dropped in with a guess. You're sniffing it out, though. Elvie Cubio, I didn't see you out there. I'm sorry I didn't recognize you when you came. If you're still out there listening, hang out. Roseanne, mother, welcome in. Welcome in. I'm glad to see you here every single day. All right, let's get to that second clue because, man, you guys are chomping at the bit. I know it. Remember our first clue? This person wrote Yeah, he does work forever. So anyway, he wrote a book that contains fewer than 350 words and became one of the most influential books ever created. Kathleen's sniffing around it. Let's see if this clue helps. He believed that children were far more emotionally intelligent than many adults realize and refused to sanitize their fears, anger, and sadness. 350 words. Kathleen sniffing around a children's author. I know it. Far more emotionally intelligent children are than adults realize, particularly at the time. All right. There's clue 2 as we keep on keeping on. Excuse me. All right. I'm going to have a sip. How's everybody doing today? Get involved in the chat. Welcome to Kindness Rising here on Mornings in the Lab Network. Your morning dose of hope, humanity, and heart at 7:30 a.m. At 8 a.m., we're going to get on over to Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. Don't forget, today is Wednesday, our favorite day here on the network. We're super busy. 8 o'clock, Keith and John. 8:30, you're going to catch Cheryl Raphael Whitaker. It starts with joy. Absolutely. She's going to be killing it. She's bringing Beatrice and all of her friends to help us all find a little joy in our heart. Cheryl Raphael Whitaker, It Starts with Joy, on the Mornings in the Lab Network. Come check us out, mornings.live. All right. Okay. Let's change up the tunes for our second. I'm actually making it a double down today. You guys know on these days, my friends who have been with me for the past year, we're coming up on a full year. Did you guys know that? July 3rd will be 1 year that I have shown up here every single weekday morning, 5:30. I wake up at 5:30, 7:30 a.m. Eastern every single day. And you guys know throughout the year, when a big day in Grateful Dead history comes up. These are all good guesses, Jess and Kathleen, but you're not there yet. What was I saying? Oh, Grateful Dead. My brain went cuckoo for a second. Today is an epic show. I'll be listening to it 5 hours. I've got 5 hours. I'll start it at 8, and it's going to be done at 1. 5 hours on June 10th, 1973. The Grateful Dead. Absolutely. All right, let's get to it. June 10th, 1973, the Grateful Dead took the stage at RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C. and played what is generally recognized as the longest concert of their career. The show stretched across 3 sets and ran well over 5 hours of music. But this just wasn't a Dead show. It was a part of a massive 2-day musical gathering featuring Wet Willie, who I've never heard of actually, the Allman Brothers Band, oh yeah, we've heard of them, and the Grateful Dead. More than 80,000 people attended across the weekend, making it one of the earliest multi-day rock festivals ever held, at least in D.C. Today, I understand why Deadhead still, to understand why Deadhead still talk about this show more than 50 later, you have to understand where the band was in 73. Many fans consider 73 one of the greatest years in Grateful Dead history. I love the music coming from them. They were experimenting, stretching songs further than ever before, and playing with level musical confidence that allowed them to take risks every single night. Eyes of the World, Birdsong, playing in the band, Dark Star, they became vehicles for exploration rather than simply performance. And on this particular day, they just kept coming, man. The first set ran nearly 2 hours. The second ran roughly 2 more. Yeah, okay. It's a good show. But guess what? They came back for an hour-long third set featuring amazing special guests for those of you who are into the jam band, historical musical scene. Guys like Merle Saunders, Dickie Betts, Butch Trucks. What followed wasn't a carefully rehearsed collaboration. It was just musicians listening to one another and building something in real time. A lot of first performances from the Dead on this day. That's All Right, Mama. It Takes a Lot to Laugh. It Takes a Train to Cry. And the final appearance of Wave That Flag, which became the Dead classic, U.S. Blues. Absolutely. Well, what happened was really cool what happened next, because it happened right near here in my backyard, and we're going to talk about it. Teasing it for a couple weeks from now. The Grateful Dead and the Allman Brothers would reunite at Summer Jam, Watkins Glen, alongside with a little band called The Band. An estimated 600,000 people attended, making it one of the largest concerts in American history. And RFK 61073 was the dress rehearsal for friendships, musical trust, and a collaborative spirit. Absolutely. That is it. Most people remember this show because it was the longest, but Deadheads remember it because it felt limitless. People were quoted as saying limitless show. Nobody seemed worried about whose name was bigger on the poster. Nobody seemed concerned about who got the most applause. The goal wasn't to outshine each other. It was to create something together. And that's enough spotlight for more than one person to shine. Absolutely right there in DC. All right. Cool. Judy Bloom. Oh my God, these are great guesses. Great guesses, but not quite there. All right. You got a new puppy? You did not call your new puppy Maddie. Don't tell me that. I'm going to pretend that you named that puppy after me. Love the Allman Brothers, great bluesy jam band. And you told me that before, that you were named after their song, Jessica. Your dad was there? Okay, this is where my twisted brain. Your dad was there when you were named Jessica? Your dad was there when you were made? I guess so. No. Your dad was there? Was there at RFK 73? No freaking way. I'd love to hear about it. Love to hear about it. Actually, I'm going to go on a little side trip here before I get to my third clue. I've made a decision that I'm going to start seeking out people who were at some of these shows. It's time. I mean, we've got to get these stories. The stories are out there, but we need to talk to more people, hear about their stories. Oh, he was stationed in DC, a military guy. Got it. I lived in DC too. I don't know if you know that, Jess, and I saw the Dead there in 95, right before Jerry died. Anyway, 95, 94. I can't remember what year it was exactly, but it was right before. It was the last with Jerry. So for me, DC. Yeah, we can talk about DC Dead for as long as you want. But before the day gets entirely away from us, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop our third clue for the day. Are you ready? You guys are sniffing around. You guys have named all the great children's authors. We know we're on a children's author, and I think this final clue will give you the answer. He wrote a book that contains fewer than 350 words, but became very influential. He believed children were far more emotionally intelligent than many adults realized and refused to sanitize their fears. Here's the last clue. His most famous story begins with misbehaviors, travel through a kingdom of monsters, and ends with a nice hot supper waiting at home. Let the wild rumpus begin. All right, let's do our compass, and then we'll come back to see who has guessed. I bet someone's going to get it right at this time. But here's 5 things you can do today aligned with our theme. Of course, we always like to give you something to walk away with every morning, every day, some ideas, a little thing to move us from thoughts into action on our journey. Here's what I want you to do. First, I want you to acknowledge someone publicly. Give credit where credit is due. Don't take credit for somebody's ideas. Just stick with them, acknowledge them, and continue on. That's what cover bands do, right? The Grateful Dead called themselves the greatest cover band in the world. They covered so many songs, most of their stuff, a lot of their stuff. Anyway, stay for that extra song. Spend the extra 5 minutes with someone that you normally would. Take a little extra minute. Share the stage. Introduce people who should know each other, that could jam together in whatever way they can jam together. Recommend someone else. There's another great idea. Open a door instead of walking through it alone. And lastly, say thank you. Not just thanks, say thank you. Genuinely. Look somebody in the eye and just express some gratitude. Tell someone exactly what you appreciate about them, because recognition becomes real when it's specific and direct. All right, there we are. What happened to my comments? My comments all disappeared. All right, did anybody guess? The Wild Rumpus. He was stationed in DC. Yes. Do you guys remember his name? I was wondering if people would remember his name. We all remember Where the Wild Things Are and the Wild Rumpus, but do we remember our man's name? Yep, here's the reveal. The reveal is today's guest, guest. If he was guesting, we'd be in big trouble because he's dead. The answer is Maurice Sendak. That's the guy's name, Maurice Sendak, best known for Where the Wild Things Are. Sendak transformed children's literature by doing something surprisingly radical. He took children's feelings seriously. Fear, anger, loneliness, imagination, wonder. His stories acknowledge that children experience the full range of human emotions and deserve stories that respect that reality. Absolutely. The wild things weren't the point. Understanding ourselves absolutely is. All right. Maurice, yes, a zombie guest. Hey, you never know. Jess, weird things happen here on the Mornings in the Lab network every single day. And even if he's not physically present, I know so many of us have been influenced by the work of Maurice Sendak. I can tell you that I had a few wild rumpuses in my day. Even as a kid, I can remember just relating to Max, the character in Wild Things, Where the Wild Things Are. I could just remember sitting in Thomas Jefferson Elementary School library, Mrs. Roach. How do I remember these things? It's just stuff just pops into my head, like these weird memories of Mrs. Roach introducing us to Where the Wild Things Are. I remember first grade, second grade. Like I can picture where I was when I was introduced to Where the Wild Things Are. Crazy memories. All right. Great show today. I'm so glad that you all have chosen to come and spend a little time here with Kindness Rising, 7:30 to 8 a.m. every weekday morning on the Mornings in the Lab network. I will be here again tomorrow, I promise, because that's what I do. I show up every single day. Today we talked about law, we talked about a concert and a children's book. 3 kind of different stories, but pointing towards the same truth. People want to be seen. They want to be valued. We all do. We want to know we matter. And the Equal Pay Act, that just asks whether we're recognizing people's worth. And the Grateful Dead show, that showed that what can happen when we share the spotlight. Maurice Sendak reminded us that even our wildest emotions deserve acknowledgement. Absolutely. And you can bring your wildest emotions right here to Kindness Rising. Get your wiggles out and go start your day at 8 a.m. I hope today was helpful for you. I know it was for me. I know that kindness begins right here when we recognize each other, when we see people clearly and we value them honestly, making room for more people to belong. That's what we're doing here on Kindness Rising, making room for people to belong. Subscribe to the channel. Join us. Get involved in the chat. I appreciate you. I need you. I hope that you enjoy this. And just thanks. Thank you. That's it. Remember, we said thank you. Not thanks. Thank you. Thank you again for joining here on Kindness Rising. Now we're going to get on over to Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. with more Wait, That Happened Today and Who's Who in the World and positivity to get us started with more high fives for humanity. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody. Stay uncommon and stay kind.